What's up, y'all? It's Lone Wolf out here dinking around. So today picked up a couple quarts of ATF plus 4, so I'm going to show you how to do a service on your transfer case on the WJ. So last night I did some videos up late grabbing chicken fried steak. You know how it goes. So had a late night last night, but it worked out. Hope you guys are doing well. Things are good for you. I'm going to click on a light really quick. This one might be an uncut one, so as you can see, we need a H10 socket, and we got a fill port right here, so we're going to make it loose here. Spin it like that. Okay, these things can be pretty tight in there too, so just know that. We're gonna pop this one loose. I think somebody impacted this one in here. Probably should use an impactor to get it out, but hey, whatever. Using my flex head. Another thing, use gloves too. ATF is messy. Bad for your hands. But hey, what do I know? Actually, that don't look too bad. But I've noticed some whining coming from the case. Plug doesn't look too bad on there. I don't know if that's a... So it really don't look too bad. But I'm going to show you guys the method that I'll use to fill a lot of this stuff. So I debated on using a pump to put it in there, but I've kind of decided to use my old funnel and hose and kind of go through that with you guys and teach you guys how I do that. But really don't look too bad. Doesn't smell burnt, but I've been having a whining sound coming from the rear end, and it very well could be it's my my U-joints or something of that nature that I need to do, but we'll see. So we're just gonna let that drain. So yeah, right now I've been trying to save money, so I haven't really done too much other than the end links and stuff like that. I got my oil pan gasket and my rear main seal in the mail. I've debated on doing that, but yeah, I'm probably gonna let it ride a little bit through the season. It stopped leaking once I did the PCV valve, so I think I had a plugged PCV. I did have some things I was gonna try out with the ignition here to try and go for power and gas mileage mix. You'll kind of see. I got an idea. I'm gonna try it out on film and see how it goes. We'll see. But probably the next thing I'm going to go for is probably servicing the drive line. Just doing U-joints on them. I've been having this weird whirring, whining sound. I thought originally it was wheel hubs. I did the front transfer case and the rear, and it got better, but it's still there. And it may just be that it's an older Jeep and it's just going to be that way. But other things I'm going to be doing is like the motor mounts and transmission mounts. I'm going to be replacing those and just getting them out of there and redoing them. That's kind of how I am. I'm working through my first season with this WJ, so it's kind of one of those things. I'm going to see how well it holds up for about 3 or 4 seasons. I'll probably move into a van again, or maybe a Transit, something like that. Or I might even just run out of Jeeps and just do that. I haven't really decided, but we'll see how long Sarge lasts. I'm mainly tuning up for a little road trip real quick, a little vacation, so we'll see. So we're pretty much finished with our drain. So let's put our plug back in here, alright? Tiny little guy. Slide it back in. You know, rag. And just stop using my pants. I've been doing that last couple of days. Not smart. So, okay. I want to kind of show you guys a trick here. I believe this is a H10, but we will see. Yeah, it is. Okay. So, let's move this out of the way. I'm going to grab a small rag. Look. I've actually done this before, and it's pretty much useless at this point, but a little glovey poo. Harbor Freight had a really good parking lot sale on these, by the way, recently. They were half off, and I picked up a couple of them. Pitched one to one of my friends. Always pick up a spare set for a spare box for somebody when I'm out there, so it kind of is what it is. Alright, let's tighten this plug up, okay? Before we start doing a fill. This is really easy to service, by the way. It's much simpler than doing your differentials. You know, you're not using any RVT, that sort of thing, so make sure it's tight in there. Not too tight. That one was really tight in there, so we're gonna go about there. Clean up, okay. The fluid, it really didn't look that bad coming out, so I don't know when it was serviced, but maybe this was the one thing that was serviced. We'll kind of see. So, alright, let's pop a fill plug off, and I'll grab a funnel and a hose. You can use a cheap, Harbor Freight sells these cheap fluid pumps you can get. You can get them at Fred Meyer, wherever. They're pretty cheap, man, so you can use that. You can use the funnel and a hose. I'm going to use the funnel and the hose method and kind of show you guys that way. You can do both. It's one of, you know, kind of whatever you want to do here. So, pull out for socket here. Alright. Kind of twist this plug out. Okay. Alright, kind of cleaning up just a little bit here. Alright, 1 second. Grab my foot. So, the way I do this a lot is I got a funnel attached to a hose, long hose, run an end on it, okay? You can do it this way, or you can pump it in. A lot of people might say to pump it in, but whatever. So, we're gonna run this. I just cleaned out this hose. It's got a little bit of old residue on it. I don't really care right now, so stick this in the transfer case. Alright. This one's kind of hard to hold in there, like the differentials are a lot easier to manage, but so what I do is I got my hose in and I run it up here and pour my fluid. So make sure our hose is still sitting in there, okay? It's smart to undo your fluid before you do this, but I'm doing it between my legs right now. Let's get this done. So I'm going to be pouring up in there and lifting up, but maintaining this is the part that's better if you use a pump, because you don't have to hold the hose in there. But I'm going to want to hold my hose like this and just push it through. So let's start filling here. Remember, it's expensive. ATF4 is expensive. Transmission fluid is expensive, so don't be spilling it. Don't be a dummy. Let's do it right. Once again, it's much easier with a pump. So I don't know if I need just to get some spillage here, but we're looking good. So okay, got some spillage coming out. So it looks like we filled to the top there. Okay. Took less than 2 quarts, which is very strange. So I took about 1 3/4 quart and dumped a little bit out, so we know that. I got a little bit of transmission fluid on the ground here. But the last thing you're gonna do in here is make sure your fill plug is tight, okay? Okay. I got a feeling that it could be my front drive shaft is whining, so I'm gonna end up rebuilding it and doing that. What else can I tell you? When you do your fluid change, make sure you get your code on your tag. Make sure that's the correct number, and look up what your ATF is for it, or what fluid you're supposed to use. Some of them use different fluid type, so it just depends on which one it is, okay? When we're looking at this from the top, it really doesn't look that bad, but it was kind of cloudy, so it was time to change it out. I didn't trust. There was a lot of times I'll write on a marker right here, like a marker that I can hit it with brake cleaner and clean it, and I'll put the date of when I serviced it, so month and year, and then so I come back under here, and I don't have to go look at my records. I can just see it written there. I'm like, oh, okay, it's time, this and that, or I'll write the mileage on it. So a lot of people, I just say write the mileage on it, 256K, or just write your mileage on it with Sharpie, and you can just hit it with brake cleaner when you do your next change and just do it. So it's a smart way to do it. You can do it on your oil pan too, if you want to take a white marker and do it on the bottom of your oil pan. Same with your transfer cases on the caps, and that's just kind of depending on how you are. Some people, they want to completely clean and this and that. I put my dates on these a lot of the times just so I know when I serviced it, just in case I forgot to write it down or I don't have my service book on me. So sometimes I leave it in the shop and I'm like, oh crap, I'm doing changes, look at that. It's just a good thing to have. So yeah, alright, that's just about it, man. Easy transfer case. So you got your drain plug, your fill plug. Buy 2 quarts of ATF plus 4. This is the 4x4 4.0 42RE. It's a I think it's a 242 if I remember right. Yeah, 242 WJ. So they're interesting. We'll see if the winding kind of chromes down, but I just have a feeling it's probably going to be somewhere up in the front where it's doing it. So we're gonna kind of test it out and see what the heck's going on. All right. Until next time, Lone Wolf. Peace out.